All right, there was a huge delay, so I'm sorry for anyone that was actually waiting for the stream. Basically, what happened is the DLC is still free to claim, but there was some bizarre bug. Um, so I'm not sure what that was on Fractus's end, but we will go ahead and start with Tonga and Blackbeard. Um, so the purpose of this stream, because to be honest, no one really watches these streams, is just to gather footage for my videos, which usually get way more views. Um, but for anyone that is like tuning in live, I'll try to slowly go through the leader Blackbeard, who was introduced with the 1.3.0 update, and then the Tonga, both of which are very naval focused. So we'll probably start with Blackbeard. His naval units are able to constantly attack other naval ships without being in an active war with another opponent. So the kind of idea for this build is to get all of the city states using the Tahina Scout, which I'll explain as I kind of research it, and then use those city states to kind of leverage my trade routes, build an economy, and then go to war with my neighboring allies and make their lives a living hell. I mean, neighboring enemies, I should say. But we'll see how well that goes. This isn't. I'm not on like a super high difficulty. I'm like on sovereign. So I just want to test this build out and see if it is actually worthwhile. And hopefully the sound is also working for you guys. Here's one of the new resources actually, which is the Cowrie. This was also introduced in 1.3.0, and the Reefs got a buff as well. So hopefully we can kind of get into the patch notes in this stream. What do we work first? I think it's going to be okay to start building out towards the gold because our starting resource situation isn't great. I think I want to grab the Cowrie and grab the gold as I kind of expand westward here. We're going to go ahead and get pottery. We don't need naval units just yet. Okay, but what is really interesting is that our unique scout starts off as a naval unit. So they are able to cross the open ocean, and that allows you to establish contact with city-states fairly early on that start on the islands, because I'm playing Pangea and Islands for balance purposes. Let's go ahead and get another Tahina. Here we go. And then there's our first goody hut. Okay, so you can also see, we can embark right here, that the goody huts are now highlighted too, which was a new feature with the update. We can probably settle another city right here, actually. And then I'm going to get disembark. I didn't mean to embark there. And grab this goody hut in the culture. There's some sheep right there. Which is pretty nice. We still have not met anyone quite yet, so we have a little bit of space to kind of consolidate here. Unfortunately, we cannot do the explore action while on naval terrain, so keep that in mind. Okay, there are some... okay, that's not an island. I was going to say there are some islands, but that is just a snaky Pangea continent. And then with this guy right here, I'm actually going to embark, and hopefully we can get our first settler out quite soon. Okay, like others before him, the younger sibling of a noble lineage takes on the mantle of Tahina and all the charges that come with it. Okay. All right, I'm going to start this quest. This is one of the unique quests. We have a little dog right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab this granary. Our starting production is really bad. This is not a great start by any means right off the bat, but it should be quite powerful once we eventually get like 30 turns in, I would say. There's another great spot for a city. But you can see, again, our starting situation is not, like, great. Okay, let's grab animal husbandry. And here's our first civics. We have quite an interesting set of choices because they are maritime focused. The only other heavy maritime culture that I can think of, at least for Civ 7, are the Carthaginians. So at start of the game's launch, I should say, there were really like 0 naval focused civs, but now we have 2 at least. And the Tonga are less military focused. They're actually more diplo focused than the Carthaginians. The Carthaginians really prefer to go gold heavy, but the Tonga are kind of more expansionist, I would say. Well, the Carthaginians can kind of spam settlers, but like they're much better at growing cities, I would say, because you are not restricted to one city like the Carthaginians are. Okay, but you can see here we get the Vaikaucau, however you pronounce that. +1 culture for each adjacent coastal terrain, and then trade routes can now cross oceans. So that kind of plays into the whole theme of exploring early with your Tahinas. And then you get a free trade route from a new city-state when you become their suzerain. We're going to save this one for later because I don't think we need it right now, though that culture will be nice in the future. This civic, however, which I will not even attempt to pronounce, grants +1 food with the Longi unique building and +3 culture, which is really nice, which is further boosted by adjacent resources. And then +3 combat strength for infantry and naval units is also nice. Kind of similar to Japan's Divine Wind ability from Civ 6. But I think right now, this will be a really nice spot for our unique. Right now, we're going to go with mysticism. I think getting our gold income up early is going to be super important. And then we have Classical Republic right here for the additional culture, and then Wonder Production. I almost always grab Classical Republic because Wonder Production is so important across the Antiquity and, I mean, the rest of the game. And on higher difficulties, it is just amazing for some of the insane bonuses other cultures get. Okay. +120 food. Okay, let's grab the food because I really want to grab this calorie tile. +4 gold in cities is super useful, and then the +2 science in towns will really reward us because we're going for a wider play style. Let's go ahead and grab the migrant. That is much more relevant. The -100% gold for one turn is like nothing because our gold output right now is so minuscule. Okay, we'll grab this, and then in 6 turns we can grab the cavalry. We probably should start exploring on the land here. And I really love navigable rivers in this game because they really benefit from, or certain cultures really benefit from them, like Spain and the Majapahit. So hopefully we can really piggyback off of that later on. Okay, I'm thinking we're going to put another city right here. We could also put one right here. And then we have met our first culture, Catherine. Or first civ, I should say. I bet the quest wants you to make trade routes to distant lands. Yes, that is primarily the focus there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and give her a friendly greeting. I don't think she's too close. So it is probably better to curry favors right now, and then if she does become a threat, where on earth is she? She can be dealt with later. Because that is kind of our goal as Blackbeard, to piss a few people off and keep them as settler bait for when we play the pirates. Let's grab this goody hut. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and rush this granary out and just buy it outright, so we can start going for a settler ASAP. And then what that also does is it speeds up our cowrie purchase. Let's support this endeavor. And we can grab the gold so we can buy out the brickyard as soon as possible. So that's 220. That'll be about probably 5 turns, assuming we get another goody hut bonus. Okay, we're also going to support this one. We have some pretty good starting terrain, though. Okay, hopefully we can grab this goody hut right here. And we can finally grab the cowrie I've been talking about. So right off the bat, that's going to buff our gold production. And then when we start getting out this settler, it's really going to help us start playing. Because right now we're just going to be settler spamming. Here's our mysticism. Okay. And we have met Himiko. So I'm kind of hoping this is not an inland sea because I want to test out the deep ocean exploration mechanic. But if it's an inland sea, then that's just our luck. But so far, I'm kind of liking our start right here. I, of course, plan to expand in this direction and grab some of the coast here because it is really looking good. But yeah, as of right now, I'm really liking what I see. And I hope the audio is also working for you guys. I was kind of messing around with the desktop audio, so if it isn't like too loud, let me know, and I can turn it up. Also, it may just be broken, which is my luck. Let's grab discipline. I always like to have, let me see here, a general early on. And of course, we're going to try to grab, where's my coastal? God of the Sea. And there is a goody hut down here. We're going to pray we can get that. I think we're going to end up taking Caithness out. But hopefully this city-state right here can be allied. And we still have 2 goody huts here to the west, so let's hope we can claim them. Who are you? Taruga. That should be a culture city-state. And let's grab this gold. I actually forgot to buy the brickyard out a few turns ago, so forgive me there. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and buy the settler out. And we won't have to wait for that at all. And then next turn, actually, this is just our luck, the river flooded. The turn after I build the settler, we can focus on developing our city. And we can't embark just yet, which is a big, big problem. So because of that, I think we're going to settle our first city right here, next to the sheep. And of course, this city-state standing right on my goody hut, so we'll get that next turn, hopefully. Grab the food. Okay, and we've just met Charlemagne. Okay, he's going to pat his belly there. I was going to say, you can kind of see with the science that our research speed is fairly swift. That is thanks to the calorie, because it is providing. Where's my tooltip? It is providing, actually, +2 science in town. I think I'm delusional. We're not receiving that bonus yet. Where's our science coming from? Okay, I think maybe just be coming from the clay pits here. I'm developing dementia. So I think the choice here is because I always like to rush for Great Stele to deliberate between that or Lapita Origins. I'm sorry, this civic right here for the food growth. I think we're going to get mysticism and start rushing our... actually, let's rush our harbor out. Getting our harbor out. We could also build here to get access. Though we can just build a bath here. So let's build a harbor here first off, and then we can probably start placing down a Great Stele. I think here would be a great location. Because we have mountain adjacency right here. We could also place it down here. So that is some food for thought. Actually, here's probably the best location for that. Okay. We're going to accept this research proposal. Actually, now that I think about it, that is why my research was so high, because I accepted that proposal with Himiko earlier. I wasn't really thinking. And you can see here, too, they've actually redone the art for a few of the icons. I think the iron looks a bit better. But previously, I think the background was orange or red. So they've done a passover on that for the UI in their ever-continuing campaign against whatever Launch's art style was. So that's always nice to see. And I think we just settle here. Keep in mind, I want to keep my cities on the coast for the bonus. That, of course, is going to piss this city-state off, who we hopefully will be able to befriend, but I'm not going to keep my hopes up. Let's grab this here. Again, our starting tiles do not look too good. Speaking of which, I think we're going to go ahead and grab a slinger here, because this is going to be a big problem early on, since the barbarians have been a lot more aggressive in my experience. Okay, we're going to grab that wonder production, and let's get the culture on the palace for now, because we only have 2 towns, so that 4 gold isn't going to really go too far. I am going to grab this warrior, and I think I'm going to go ahead and send this general down with the slinger I bought. Yeah, I'm just thinking about my town placement right now. I think the next best city would be right here, so that I could fit another city right here. I'll probably have to explore a bit more of the coast right there. And speaking of which, there is Hatshepsut. Probably fit another city here, though it's going to be a bit cramped. Okay, we'll go for a friendly greeting. And then I think from there, we start exploring some more of the coastal tiles out here, because I think, unfortunately, this is an inland ocean. Just making an educated guess here. So we can still explore and meet some of the city-states out there, but it is going to be a bit annoying early on. Attack there, get some experience. And let's get our scout out of dodge real quick. I think it's probably best to start exploring east. Okay, this is the new improvement. It is the harbor. And basically, it was kind of the answer with this update to the lack of naval improvements early on for Civ 7. So the main purpose is really to increase the production for coastal starts here by adding one production for each fishing boat. I believe that's its ability. So hopefully that makes early naval gameplay a bit better. I mean, we'll see. But right now it's going to help us with our Great Stele production. So we'll see how that kind of pans out. Okay, I think it's about time to start working on our Sol Pit, though. So our Stele is going to go here, I think. Get a library there. Man, I really wish we had map tax from Civ 6, but that's another thing on the to-do list. I gotta pick the most useless tile for the Sol Pit because it has no other bonuses, since it's a warehouse building. So I want to say here is probably best. Let me grab this tile right here. We can then work on the horses. And I think we're going to go ahead and settle. Oh, of course, there's a scout there. Our next city here. Okay, they're actually doing quite a bit of damage to our city. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy the warrior. He'll chill for a turn. And as you can see, they're mounting an offense. So we're probably going to have to take out this city right here. And cross our fingers that Egypt isn't going to get too pissed. Because the worst case scenario is they start befriending the city-state, and then we have to get into an active war with Egypt, which is not ideal because they have no naval settlements within reach. Let's expand towards the sheep. And of course, there is a galley right here. So I'm going to get back on land and try to circumnavigate that. Here's Ibn Battuta. We'll go ahead and give him a friendly greeting. and settle this city right here, which the city of Toloa. Actually, I need to reload. I didn't mean to settle that city there. Okay, that was a I don't know what that was. That was a brain fart. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. What I meant to do was settle right here and wait for this guy to get off my spot. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing we did what was it? This turn, last save, where we expanded towards the sheep. And I think it's gonna be fine to send our slinger out there next turn after we finish off the enemy slinger. So I talked about them earlier, but Ibn Battuta is actually playing as the Carthaginians, which is interesting because they are like the next closest culture to the Tonga here. So we'll see how successful they are because they are early on going to have a very, very strong settler economy. But the AI kind of struggles with optimal, unique district placement, which is really important with the Kothon. So we'll kind of see how things pan out for Mr. Battuta over there. Okay, I think now I'm finally going to get this unique civic. And we get our first promotion, which I am going to invest in Bastion. Let's get Steadfast. I think that's fairly good right now. We don't need the... what's the name of the promotion right here? The initiative promotion, which immediately regroups your units and ungroups them without wasting movement, which is another fantastic upgrade. I just think we should be fine without that for now. And we can finally start production on the Great Stele. Hopefully we didn't waste too much time with our other buildings. Going to plop that down right there. And then eventually we're going to place down our unique right there. So let's fortify. Also, let me know if my mic is too quiet. I haven't listened back to the stream since my last live stream was like 7 months ago. There are going to be a few technical difficulties, I'm afraid. At least in my experience. Hopefully it's fairly smooth for you guys. Okay, let's go ahead and heal here. They decided not to attack us. Big mistake. But I think it's safe to attack them right here to soften them up for our slinger. Looks like the AI are getting a bit friendly with us, which is fine. I think when we go and start building our navy out to attack our neighbors, we're going to want to wait at least 20 to 30 turns after we get our uniques up and can start growing larger cities for city defense. And getting things like walls down. Because our land armies aren't going to be nearly as powerful as our naval units here as Tonga. Okay, we will take the culture bonus, and I think for the time being, we're not going to... He's already befriending Yilan. We're not going to befriend city-states until we can get a few more scouts out and start crossing the ocean. Yep, everyone wants to strike up a deal with us. Tongue twister there. And I think the scout is screwed. I don't know if there's any way out of that. Okay, let's have you heal up. And we can basically go ahead and clear this this encampment right here. And then probably put our next city down right here. Which is unfortunate, but it's not going to kind of work on the coast. We're going to have to compete for so many tiles here. With our other cities, I should say. We're going to grow towards the elephants. Let's grab irrigation. I think the garden is going to work fairly well based off of our start. And we can finally clear this camp. So that's going to give us a huge food boost to our capital, which will then help. Okay, another warrior with. Let me reassign you real quick. Which is going to then help with our wonder production. So speaking of which, I think it's high time we got a brickyard here. And you can see right there it shaved a few turns off. I'm not going to want to get the -1 influence because we're going for city-state gameplay. And as you can see, we got 2 pops. So, let's focus on the high yield production tiles. And our scout is still somehow alive miraculously. So hopefully he can make it over and start making contact with these city-states across the ocean. Because keep in mind, this is Pangea, an island, so we're not in this scenario where we have two entirely separate continents. So I have a lot less space. Well, I have a lot less space compared to typical continents and island starts. I'll just say that. Okay. So I think our next buyout is going to be the Sol Pit, and then after this wonder is done, we're going to go for the Stellae. Again, our start looks pretty nice. Okay, and here's one of the new features. I thought I was not going to be able to get to this, but we have the atoll, which uniquely spawns in open ocean, and it kind of acts as a buffer zone for ships crossing. And this is one of 2 new features added with terrain features added with this update. The other one is the Lotus, which I have not seen quite yet. It spawns in lake tiles. Reefs no longer spawn in lakes, which was really weird. They did that before this update. Now they solely spawn in ocean and coastal terrain. We've also seen turtles too, which is another new resource added in this update. But yes, lotuses are also a new terrain feature, so hopefully we can see them in some of the new terrain we come across. Okay, man, we have rivers galore here. All right, here's our first civic. And we have the elongate, so we're going to want to wait and build this over here. This would also be a good spot, but we have no resources bordering this tile, so that's not going to be too good compared to our number one location. Okay, we're probably going to have to build a fishing quay here, just so we can expand and build to this tile. Okay, I think we're going to go hard on the unique civics here. We're going to continue picking the wonder production, and then we can also pick the additional growth rate, I think, for clan networks, because we're still a bit away from our first city since we're investing gold in the capital to buy out our production buildings. And then I think that's going to be good for now. Eventually, I want to take the +2 gold for towns. Nagtipunan looks tempting. Okay, let's get back on the water here. All right. I got to deploy these guys. I think 2 units is enough to deal with this warrior since he's already weakened. We'll have you sit there. I want to settle this tile as quickly as possible. And of course, he's just running his face into my city. Okay, that's from the city-state we destroyed earlier. So we did not need the slinger, after all. And hopefully we get the Great Stele. Okay, there we go. And hopefully we get the Great Stele. Okay. All right. I wonder why we are... Okay, that's because we're taking out the farm, I was going to say. We should still get our food bonuses +2. And then later we're going to build the Vai Kau Kau, however that is pronounced. Okay, this is a funny event. I'm not going to expand here because I want to save this adjacency for another city. But right now, I think it's probably best to focus on food. That's another fantastic spot for a city. So I'm going to try to save some influence for the city-states, but we'll see how much I'm able to save because the AI is pretty insistent on, here we go, on establishing these deals with me. Okay, speaking of which, we're actually going to grab Code of Laws and then we'll hit up the cheaper but friend independence civic. Ooh, +1 influence on fishing quay. I think we will grab that. And then the codex. Okay, we can't buy that out quite yet. We really should be brushing for probably another settler. I think the library is actually going to be our best decision right now. We'll take this alliance because I don't believe she is at war with anyone quite yet. Yeah, she's just hostile towards Catherine, so I think she'll be an okay ally. We may come into conflict with them over this settlement right here, but I think she'll be okay as long as Caithness is up. So once we take them out, we're going to have to be pretty quick in seizing the opportunity here. Oh, she is befriending Taruga, which is a big no-no for me. So let's befriend Troy. And take the +1 influence in all settlements, since we already have 3 settlements, soon to be 4. And then our Blackbeard quest relies on us building 4 more naval units, so that is something that I'm also looking at. Keep in mind we don't have naval commanders this early, so we have to be a bit careful with our naval combat early on. that I'm going to save for our first city. Looks like she's dealing with quite a few barbarians from Caithness. And this is a bit of a forward settle from her, too. So we'll see how this city pans out. I assume her capital is over here. We really don't have anyone over here. So we have quite a bit of land. I think I can afford to be greedy with our settlements. But we're going to be getting our unique quarter right about now. There's the design, which I think looks pretty cool. And our unique quarter is the Tolfia. My pronunciation is terrible, but basically how it works is you get +2 culture for every trade route you have to a city-states, and then scouts can now enter ocean without taking damage. So it kind of has two functions. The main benefit for this unique quarter is going to be that +2 culture. So once we start spamming trade routes, which is kind of further reinforced by how easy it is to befriend independence once we get the Kava ceremony civic, we really start to get online. Let's take the +1 culture, because I think we've been going fairly heavy on the influence. We're getting +20 right now, which is pretty decent. And I said I was going to hold off on my naval units, but you can see here Long Chen obviously has other ideas. Catherine is not going to like this settlement one bit. Okay, we're going to buy out this library because +6 science is a really, really big deal. And I think it's safe to go ahead and buy out, or not buy out, build the Kalia, which is our unique naval unit. And as you can see there, we got an expansionist point, but Hot Shape Suit did not like that one bit. But we also discovered some tin. So that is going to be a big boost to us. Okay, and just in time, as you can see right now, this is a light ship, so it's going to be faster, have more vision, and it actually starts at a tier 2. But the heavy units, which is a distinction that came with this update, are going to be ranged units that have more power. So these are going to be the faster ships that you use to flank. You really aren't going to use these ships as like the backbone of your fleet. That's going to be the like Carracks and the other heavy naval units. I don't really think we need survey for the movement and vision. But we can probably go one settler over our limit. Okay, and we can almost turn this into a city. Speaking of which, let's increase our settlement limit there. And we've discovered Kuaiji, which has no one working towards it. So hopefully once we research Kava Ceremony, we can start to snag up these city-states quite quickly. All right, let's send this first trade route to Indrapura. This will hopefully improve our opinion with Himiko. And as you can see, we went ahead and seized the ship from the barbarians. It became a galley. It did not become our unique, but this is really going to help us snowball. And we got some gold later on. So here's our settler. The question is kind of, where do we send them? I think the best spot is going to be here, below this navigable river. But we would need to take Caithness out first to kind of achieve that. So for now, it looks like Machiavelli's over here. I don't think we need to worry about settling eastward for the moment, but I really like this Thera location, so I think we want to go ahead and grab that, put a settlement right at the center of the island, and use this as kind of like a perma-town where we never worry about converting it to a city, but it creates a lot of culture for us based off of Thera, and then turns any additional production into gold to kind of help us buy out a lot of our naval units as we try to snowball further. If that makes sense, hopefully. Okay. We're still looking to research Ha'amonga Amaui so we can build that as quickly as possible since that is our unique. It really benefits our playstyle, and it would be a huge buff to this city here because we have quite a few coastal tiles. And I'm not going to worry about getting merchants quite yet because my unique ability, let me see right here. Where's my breakdown? Or I should say one of my unique civics creates a merchant after I befriend a city-state. So I can actually see my civic tree. I'm scrolling around like an idiot, but I promise it's there. There it is. Lapita Origins. So we receive a free trade route from new city-states when we become their suzerain. And right now, we're working on befriending Troy. So I think they're going to be safe. But we should probably grab Nagdipuran on the next turn. And also, we can finally upgrade this to a city. Which I'm not going to try to pronounce the name for this city here. Okay, first things first. We can probably grab a fishing quay. And then put a harbor here. And then build our unique here. Because we're going to have to build 2 urban improvements here. I think we can fit in a library. But I kind of want to put a wonder here. Even though we're going to miss out on 2 cities right here. Just because it would really buff our unique and our library. So I think it would more than make up for it. Let me actually allocate the sheep here. It's going to take production away from our capital, but we really need this early production in whatever this the city is called. I'm going to heal. There's Khotan. And actually, I forgot to befriend Nagtipunan. We can also attack Hatshepsut right here. but I think we'll heal for the time being. Okay, that is unfortunate. Okay, where is Ha'amonga Amawe? Okay, I think we're going to want to go ahead and get Kava Ceremony so we can rush for that wonder. It's, I think, later on in the Civic Tree, so we should probably just rely on our traditions to kind of grab that as early as possible, since it is a fairly powerful wonder given our starting position. Okay, we're going to send this galley northwards with our settler. I will take the science, because we're a bit lacking right now, and that +6 is pretty big. We're going to grab another Tahina, I think. And plop down our harbor right here. It's not great right now, the harbor, but I want to build this unique improvement as early as possible. That's kind of my methodology right now. We don't really have a great spot for our unique right here. I think we're probably going to start turning this into a city beforehand, so we really need to start working on gutting Caithness. But I think we need to start building up our army first and foremost. Speaking of which, I do want to start working on Caithness sooner rather than later. We can also probably start to go for Colossus. Placement itself doesn't really matter. Okay, our happiness is fine right now. I'm going to go for the science. And then finally we can get navigation, which I will beeline. Hopefully we're not too late. If we are, that is just bad luck. We kind of had an awkward start because we don't have direct access to the ocean. But again, we'll see how this map pans out. Ooh, and someone beat us to Colossus. That's okay. We can use the production for something else. Just a bit unfortunate. Ooh, and it looks like they took down Miletos, which is huge for us. I think that's Chitinus that captured it. Okay, you took a ton of damage. Okay, so that's going to be really good for our production right there. Immediately getting that settler. I'm actually going to pivot to currency right now. So with this settler, we're going to go over our limit just a tiny bit. Get the markets. But we should be okay because it's not that big of a penalty, happiness-wise. And I think we just further lay on the influence refund. So it's 150% reduced influence. So it's about 114 right now. That's on top of our already very, very solid influence production. So in a few turns, we're going to be able to get Arna. Oop, there we go. Actually, we're going to be able to get it right now. And then after we befriend those city-states, keep in mind we start getting trade routes. So Troy is already pretty close to being befriended in about 13 turns. We can boost that further with influence. But all of a sudden, we're going to start getting a ton of trade routes, which is going to further help us snowball as the Tonga. And then we're just going to back away from the barbarians here. Where's my settler? There you are. I'm not sure why I didn't proc that. Who else can we buy out here? We're already befriending Kuwaiji and Nagtipunan, so we have about 4 city-states that we're going to get. Unfortunately, Yilan and Taruga have been sniped. I'm not too interested in Khotan right now because I don't really think we need a militaristic city-state, but if no one else grabs it by the time I have enough influence, I'll probably grab it. But the purpose of our Tahinas right now is to... Looks like Charlemagne is up here. Just continue expanding our influence. Or finding new city-states so we can expand, our influence. This seems to be her capital. And they burned her ass to the ground. I'm sure she's not too happy about that. But that's better for the both of us, or at least it's better for me, because I'm not going to have to go to war with her, hopefully, in the near future, because that city-state was starting to grow. I'm sorry, that city was starting to grow a bit too much for my liking. Okay, this guy is just insistent on ruining my day. He keeps bouncing back to the same spot. For now, I think we should probably build an altar to start making use of the bonuses. That sounds like a plan. And we should be good to go. Okay, Long Cheng is going to eviscerate Charlemagne over there. Thankfully, our capital is not too close to them. And we just got Hamonga Amaoi, so we're going to really try to rush this right now. We're going to pick up Lapita Origins as well. Just because it's that gives us that monument bonus. I think we're going to be able to make use of this right now. But the +1 culture on warehouse buildings is going to be super, super nice. Not knife. Actually, let's get Code of Laws if we can rush Munda Perdita. That would be huge. He is finally off that tile. And we have enough influence for another couple of city-states. So I think we will just double down and speed up. Let me see here. Our pre-existing city-state befriend actions. And then we can save enough influence to support another endeavor from the AI, should it come our way. I'm going to actually reject this right now. I don't see any reason to befriend, or not befriend, ally him. Because the title of this stream is burning everyone's coasts. So we can't really do that when we have a ton of allies, unfortunately. This would be an amazing spot for our unique building. I don't think we're going to have enough. What's the word I'm looking for? Space to get there, though. I mean, maybe we could settle here and reload this. Okay, I think we can do that. Let me reload real quick. And take a quick break. All right. Okay, there we go. So hopefully we can turn this into a city before the era ends and start actually doing something this stream, since we haven't really done anything too productive. But I think we really benefit from having the first half or so of antiquity to set up. Okay, I'm going to station you back here, and we'll go for bronze working, since we're already getting Ha'amoga Maui from the Kava ceremony tech. Okay, I have no idea what Himiko is doing. It does not look good, though. I think she's preparing to go to war against someone they're neutral with, because she is friendly with me right now. Otherwise, I don't think she'd be amassing nearly as many units, so we'll go ahead and see who she decides to screw over. Hopefully it's not me. Okay, there's Mundo Perdido. Actually, it looks like someone already grabbed that. I don't know why I thought otherwise. So we have our first city-state officially. And this is one of the new diplomatic city-states introduced in the last update, prior to 1.3.0. I think the meta, since we already have speed towards befriending independence, is probably going to go for something like Amarna letters, since we don't have any boot benefits towards supporting endeavors and sanctions. Espionage would also be pretty nice. So we could probably start going for a side tail, actually. Man, she is screwed. She only somehow has one city. I don't think Catherine's going to be doing too well. And despite that, she has the same amount of science as we do, which just goes to show how powerful her base ability is, Star of the North. Yeah, cities settled in tundra gain science equal to 25% of their culture per turn. So you can kind of see there, that's giving her a huge boost. But she'll probably settle a few more cities. These two city-states, though, being befriended to me, is going to really start to slow her down. So I'm not going to worry about settling any more cities to the west right here. For now, I think we start to build up our navy and pick someone to kind of bully, which may be Hatshepsut. It may be Himiko, because Himiko has more of a naval presence. We'll really have to see here. Speaking of culture, though, that silk is going to boost our output, which is really helpful, because we want to continue rushing civics as quickly as we can, since we kind of beeline to Ha'amonga Amaui, so we have a lot more to fill in, I should say, just to clarify. Well, Mundo Perdido isn't built. I think I just didn't have any space to build it over here. So in fact, it might not be a bad idea to place it right here, like I was kind of planning earlier when I mentioned the wonder placement. And then we could probably place a brickyard down here. I think we can skip the library for the time being and actually buy out this brickyard. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, it's only letting me build that brickyard right there. Okay, be annoying, game. And now I can't build Mundo Perdido. I think that is a glitch. That is a really annoying glitch. Okay, well, I guess I will build the library. Just buy it out if you're going to be annoying, game. Okay, and buy out that salt pit as well. That's not usually supposed to happen, though it has happened in a previous playthrough of mine. I'm not really sure what it is. I think it's just how the game prioritizes urban tiles and like how it allocates some of the building slots to them. I'm really not sure what the root cause is, but I've only really had this bug since the latest update, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. Okay, I think we'll specialize this town. You might be wondering why I haven't specialized any of the towns. I usually like to grab all the resources nearby before specializing so I can fully take use of that specialization. Like, for example, I think once we grab the sheep here and the silver, we can specialize this town as well. I have no ambitions of turning it into a city. I think this will become a city. This will become a city. And 4 cities should be okay for our antiquity phase. But looking at my military, I think we really need to start beefing them up. So once Ha'amonga Amaui is done, we can kind of focus on developing our naval and land units. Okay, here is Machiavelli finally. I didn't bother exploring eastward because I really don't benefit from meeting someone like him who is actively aggressive and constantly spies on you. I think he's like one of the worst leaders for that, just because his specific agenda. Oh, and he has Sheila, of course, which kind of further boosts his play style. But I mean, because he's so Machiavellian, he really enjoys screwing over even his allies, which is super unfortunate if you are next to him like I am. So his capital's quite a bit away, but he's going to gradually expand westward because we haven't claimed too much territory outside of our capital. This is a unique Tonga event. I think we'll take the monument purchase. So right there, which is another +5 culture, which is super nice. And that just auto completes trade routes. So I think we're going to end up buying a trader after all. I was kind of confused as to how this works since it is my very first Tonga gameplay, or I should say Tonga playthrough. But this instance is pretty nice. Oh, and she's actually attacking me, which is interesting. I would not advise that. I'm going to get out of dodge here, but if you're going to attack me, I'm just going to go ahead and slap some sanctions on you real quick. Actually steal some tech. So don't mind if I do. Okay, so I think our first major trade route is going to go to Roma. And then we can buy out a merchant quickly after we get Ha'amonga Amaui, fingers crossed, and send that to Roma or Athena. I forget where I sent my first trader. Okay, send it to Athena. That's Catherine City. Or Athene, however it is pronounced. Yeah, you can see there is a ton of land that is open right now. And thankfully, we did get our unique wonder. So this is really going to buff our culture output on our fishing boats to kind of help us snowball further. And of course, we get our first cultural attribute. I really don't think we're going to get Mundo Perdido here. On the off chance that we do, that's going to really help our science. But the AI does build it. I don't know why they're so slow with Mundo Perdido, since it is one of the most powerful antiquity wonders. That +1 science on improvements is really, really big. It's not the best wonder, but I think the science really goes a long way, more so than the happiness. So the AI is kind of like flipped on building it. Where did that goody hut go? I swear there was a goody hut right there. But as I was kind of saying, the AI is okay. That unit should have been revealed to me. This is like the schizophrenic version of Civ 7 with this update. Basically, what was I saying? I completely lost my train of thought. Okay, and they took out my galley. Yeah, the AI is completely flip-flopped on building Mundo Perdido with each patch. So hopefully they start being more proactive with it, because it's such a strong wonder in Antiquity. But I'm not too sure if that's like a priority for Firaxis. We'll go with a friendly greeting. And of course, he's World Conqueror, so don't be surprised if he starts going for Machiavelli early on. Yeah, Machiavelli's not doing too hot. They're kind of like inverse culture science builds right now. So I think they're probably neck and neck. We'll see if Ashoka goes for him or if he goes for Charlemagne. Okay, I'm sorry. Where did our I forgot again. Where did our trader go? Okay, he's going to Roma. So we'll send you to Athenai. And hopefully we don't get any aggressive barbarians coming for us. We have 816 gold. I've kind of been sitting on it for a while. I want to immediately upgrade this to a city because I want to get my unique right here, because it's going to be super, super powerful. And I think the first step towards doing that is going to be going for a granary, going for a harbor, and then connecting a fishing quay here so I can actually get to that tile. And then that sheep is going to help them, yeah, shave off 3 turns. Okay, so I've kind of been meaning, since we're halfway through Antiquity, to look at the overall progress. Our wonder production is quite slow at the moment, since our focus has been settler spam. We're going to shift to naval gameplay pretty soon, because I would be baiting otherwise with the title of going after my opponents. But one of the reasons we didn't really build up our navy early on, aside from it being more difficult with Tonga's, I guess, more pacifist play style, is because Blackbeard actually has +1 maintenance for naval units. So that would be a huge, huge stink to us, because we've been really saving money to upgrade our settlements into cities early on, like what I just did with what is this? Faletoa? Faleloa. I'm butchering all these names. And then hopefully we can start finishing our first Blackbeard quest we got all the way back. Let's get the +1 gold, because we are going to need it. And we will take the wheel too. We have our third Diplo city state. So that's just helping us snowball even further. I suppose we don't need more happiness. So let's get Amarna letters. And you can see our trade route is kind of expanded further. Once we get our settlement cap up one more level, I think we'll send another settler here, and then we'll be done expanding. I'm going to go for an Alanda. The AI really likes to build an Alanda. I'm surprised it hasn't been built quite yet, so if we can rush that, that would be really, really good for us. Okay, we are gradually completing our milestones here. I'm going to move the sheep to Fakatefenga and get that cotton in Faleloa for the +2 food and +2 production. Cotton's a really, really strong resource early on just because production and food are so valuable as you're converting towns to cities. Yeah, and we can't quite reach that silver, which is a shame. But we can probably expand to the silver tile. Okay, it wants us to specialize. I don't think we will do that quite yet, although our towns have been quite slow to grow. We will probably buy another merchant when we can. 400 is quite steep. I think in the meantime, I'm going to start filling out my armies here. So first step is probably going to get to word salad. First step's going to be to get an army commander, and then what is our military looking like right here? Where is it? Fill in a slinger. So that's going to be about 3 slingers, 3 archers, I should say, and then 2 spearmen. So we have our work cut out for us before we really start mobilizing for war. But it's going to be a good idea to have 2 commanders. I really don't think Himiko will let us kind of pass by with just an army commander, because we saw earlier that she has fielded a fairly significant army. And there is Chomp. I'm actually going to go ahead and grab them, since for whatever reason, and Samarkand, Ashoka has not started befriending them. Okay, and that bronze working mastery is also going to help us here. Oh, and she's also going to settle near us, so it's a good thing we've started expanding when we have. We can probably buy this harbor out. Or this, yeah, this is the harbor. And immediately go for a fishing quay. Ooh. Why can we not build there? That is a bit bizarre. I think we should be able to. That one is a bit weird. I'm actually not sure why we can't do that. Yeah, this is a coastal tile. Oh, I think it's because we have a reef here. Oh. I'm actually going to try to reload. I completely... I don't even know what I was thinking. For whatever reason, I'm sorry to have to reload a third or fourth time. For whatever reason, I was thinking you could build over reefs, which was not the case. Massive brain fart there. Okay, I'm sorry there. That was a big oopsie. So hopefully this here, crossing my fingers, it does not. Okay, I must have dementia. I am absolutely not sure why we cannot build here, because it doesn't look like there's anything on top of this tile right now. I don't think we have to improve it, so I'm really unsure as to why we're not able to expand here. That's a bit annoying. Oh well. Maybe if I expand here. Oh, okay, I see what it is. I needed to previously have, that was stupid of me. What's the word I'm looking for? I needed to have an improvement on top. That was not the case with my urban expansions. I don't know why that's the case with naval improvements. Maybe I forgot. I've never really encountered that problem before. I look like a complete noob. But thankfully we're able to get our unique there. I'm really not sure why I blanked there. Okay, and of course she settles right next to me. I don't really care about salt right now. I'm going to go ahead and go heavy on incense, and those rubies aren't too big of a deal for me. That +4 gold right now isn't going to do too much. Okay, unique Tonga event. I think we'll take the +3 sea trade route range. And of course, we're going to need camels. She does have a turtle resource though. Okay, we'll save up for Champa. Right now, our next civic doesn't matter too much. But I think for our technology, we're going to try to get Angkor Wat. Hopefully we can build Mundo Perdido. And then right as we hit 77%, I think or 70%, we'll have enough naval units to start going to war with Himiko. Okay, there we go. So the AI kind of whiffed that one. Thankfully, we were able to get Mundo Perdido down, which is going to buff our science and happiness. As you can see right now, our science is pretty beefy thanks to the city right here. However, it's pronounced, which is matching our capital, which is kind of impressive, considering how populous our capital is right now. Meaning, because I invested a lot into our specialists. So as promised, let's start building out 2 of these ships right here. I've kind of neglected the infrastructure. This should receive benefits from Mundo Perdido. Yeah, 8 culture is nothing to scoff at. And then get an altar here. An amphitheater. Okay, I think that is good for now. Okay, we're not going to be able to reach those resources, unfortunately. Okay, so now it's finally letting me build my unique. You could see earlier it wasn't letting me build it there for whatever reason, so I think that is an issue with the game itself. I'm going to start building my uniques down, or putting them down right now. We'll start with the Longi for the food bonus, and then after that, I think we start investing in the infrastructure on our main island. I just want to make sure we get this out for the culture bonuses, and then the unique quarter bonus as early as possible, so we're kind of maxing that out. There's Gordium. We're on our way to befriend like 10 plus city states at the moment, just because of how insane our discounts are towards befriending. Our influence right now isn't that strong. You can see the other civs have decent influence. I mean, it's not at our levels. I mean, look at Machiavelli. I mean, we're like second best, I think, right now. Right, we're first best, but our influence isn't like insane. We're not like soundly beating everyone else in the influence game. We're just over the edge. The befriend independence discount we've gotten from our diplomatic city-states on top of our Tonga ability has really contributed to us kind of steamrolling the other cultures here thanks to our influence generation alone. So that has really, really helped us. And then, of course, the unique quarter also helps because we're immediately creating trade routes to city-states. So again, that's another nice bonus. Okay, I'm going to get tool making out of my policies. I probably should have taken it out a while ago because the +1 production in science quickly falls off as you're expanding. I think the clan networks for now is okay. I'm going to take Takwaka. This is really, really good for the +2 science. And then I think Ngatu also is going to really, really help us out. Yeah, we're at 115 culture, so that is far and above most of the other civs right now. Catherine's kind of kneecapped herself because she only has settled 2 cities. That's kind of thanks to our scummy forward settling, but I digress. She had the opportunity to take Kwaiji over earlier. But regardless of the difficulty level, I'm playing at Sovereign right now just to test out the new culture. But regardless of the difficulty level, I found the civs themselves, the AI is pretty poor at planning out cities. I think they're more conscientious of the new scaling debuff that cities have, or settlements have. For each settlement you found, basically, it gets more expensive to um, build improvements, as I remember. So that may be kind of weighing on their conscience. I'm not sure specifically how that works out in like their code and their programming, but they've really been conservative with their city placements. I've noticed in recent patches, as opposed to like their disgusting forward settling that they did on release. So hopefully that's another thing that kind of gets a look at. I would say like a retooling, because they really kneecap themselves. Like I can already tell you now, I don't think Himiko is going to be um, too much of a threat just because she has three cities and she's so like clustered together with her urban district placement. But hopefully they start to be more aggressive with their city placement, so we have an actual challenge here. I don't want the stream to be too boring. I know my monotone voice doesn't help, but hopefully we get some actual challenge from the AI here. Ooh, we have Great Lighthouse too. That's one of the new wonders. I'm gonna actually try to beeline for that, um, since it hasn't been taken yet. And we just got our army commander there. Okay, we have our. I was kind of quiet there because I was thinking about our next move. I think for our policies, we're going to get the +1 science from specialists since we've been investing heavily in our population, kind of thanks to our unique districts here as well. But that's going to help us further. Now we're kind of building up our army to finally attack Himiko, which should be doable after we upgrade our units. The AI is pretty decent at combat now. They've come a long way since release, but I don't think she'll have enough um, units to actually take my cities because it's at a pretty good choke point. She'll have to attack um, strictly on this tile right here. So I'll probably field one army in this city, and then afterwards, I'm kind of already preemptively moving my naval units to attack from the north. So I think 3 will be enough, but we'll kind of see again how things pan out. Speaking of which, I'm gonna settle my last city here. The reason being, it's not going to be a great city or a great town. I'm probably going to keep it a town because I don't really have coastal access. It's really just to prevent Charlemagne from settling a city right next to this navigable river. It's really more of a buffer zone, if anything, since the next culture I plan to pick, the pirates, cannot train settlers naturally. So it's really, really important that I build as many cities as I can while I'm able to build settlers, that is. And he immediately became one of my naval units. So with Blackbeard, that is thanks to my ability. We keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So we have a huge amount of snowball potential, which is my favorite buzzword for this live stream. Okay, right now I really want to upgrade them, but the cost is going to be quite steep. So I think we will continue growing. I mean, we're going to continue growing. God, I keep clicking away. This city until we have the proper resources here. But yeah, we're going to hold on to our gold for now and then get a ton of gold, I should say, from attacking Himiko. Ooh, and he dispersed the city-state we were befriending. I'm not too happy about that. Because we were literally just about to befriend Samarkand. I think it's a bit early for a focus right now. I'm going to station you, again, preemptively in Tongoleleka. And I think we can probably snag Great Lighthouse in this city. Okay, I think this will synergize fairly well with our build right now. So we'll go ahead and drop it there. I'm really not too positive about building it here because our production right now is not great. This is really a food city, thanks to the bath and our uniques, which we're still kind of putting gold towards. So we'll finish developing this into a city, and that'll be about it for this start right here. I think if we had a better, like, I mean, because we have a pretty solid coastal start, but I think if we had more ocean access and we were like starting right next to the ocean, like right here, I'd probably try to convert more towns into cities. But right now, I think this is probably the max limit I'll go for. I mean, I could convert this into a city too. This would be a pretty good location for our unique. So I'll see if we have enough gold by that time. But we're already about 4/5 of the way done with the antiquity. So I have to be careful. Okay, I'm going to move the amphitheater up there. And we have one more turn until we can convert this town. Okay, we'll just grab another grab another ship right there. And continue on as planned. Okay, I'm sorry. It was about 2 more turns. It wasn't 1 more turn. Okay, I didn't realize we had camels, so we're going to hopefully get the Silk Road victory right now. Yep, there we go. So right now, we're kind of lagging on wonders. Hatshepsut's already built 7 of them. You can see with the legacy points, we're still leading, but we just got the Silk Roads, and we're far and away above our competitors there. And hopefully we can get Great Library as well. I would say we're definitely snowballing as planned, but I do want to at least, God, stop going there, get these ships over to Himiko so we can steal as many naval units as we can from her. I'm going to send you here. I don't think anyone has built the Colosseum yet, so that is some food for thought. We'll send you over there too. We're sending like about 6 ships over. I think Catherine's about to declare war against Himiko because she forward settled Catherine. Right? No, they're neutral. She still only has 2 cities though. Okay, that guy's gonna die. Yeah. Bad luck. But we did get Angkor Wat. Hopefully the music is working too. I've really been messing around with the speaker output audio. I'm not too sure why. It's kind of been funky. If you can't hear any background music, I'm sorry in advance. I don't know why. If OBS is kind of screwing with me. But that's just my luck, unfortunately. That's just my luck. Speaking of which, we could always use more camels. So I'm going to buy a merchant, speaking of which. Okay, I'm kind of in a dilemma here because these would be okay locations for normal districts, but salt pits are warehouse buildings and you want to put them in like the most useless tile you can kind of find. These are both okay since they're bordering resources here. So I think I'm just going to put this here because I'll probably put a unique district here that benefits from navigable rivers. That's something I always have in consideration instead of putting a salt pit here, so that I can eventually put something like a wonder down here and then make this a really productive section of my city. We don't have any access to camels, though. We're very low on the camel ladder. Send this to Tugaruga. Okay. And we're making 113 gold a turn too. So that's pretty solid right now. Okay, I think if we have extra time, we can put the Colosseum down here. The AI does put it fairly high on their priority list, so we'll see if we're that lucky. I do like that we were able to snag this unique quarter here. 10 culture is huge for us. The food is just okay. That's not really what we're looking for. Right now, we're at 150 culture. So despite not being technically a cultural civ, we're diplomatic and expansionist. Our culture is nothing to scoff at. We're even beating Egypt, who's off to a fairly decent start with 4 cities. So that is something to keep in mind. Yeah, Catherine really needs to get her shit together. So we're going to go ahead and start spying on her again. She's not allied with anyone, and she's hostile to Machiavelli, so hopefully he's launching quite a few sanctions against her. So since she doesn't really have any friends, we can really start going after her navally. And I don't think her army itself is that impressive either, because she's kind of distracted with Catherine right now. I think she might be on her way to declare war. I'm not too sure, but we have about 5 ships heading over there, so hopefully they can make it in time. We're at 86% completion. I'm not going to fight Charlemagne here. I want to get my naval units over there. But, yeah, that is the strategy right now. So hopefully I can actually see that through. Okay, we're finally getting those elephants, which we set out to get like 20 turns ago. And that was kind of why we were snaking around the mountains, since we can't work mountains as Tonga and Blackbeard. Okay, yeah, we don't have any spots really for our cities right now. That's kind of the purpose of building this market aside from the gold buff. We're not really in huge need of gold generation, but that's going to help free up a resource slot for us. So hopefully we can get a market out here soon too. This is going to be a shitty unique quarter though. Can I buy this out? No. Probably about one more turn for that. So next turn I will. And again, these look like really juicy tiles. The reason I haven't been buying them out is I plan to actually save space for this city so I can put down a quarter. So I'm trying to be strategic since you can't swap city tiles, unfortunately. Or, yeah, own city tiles like you can in Civ 6. So hopefully they patch that in, because it has been pretty disappointing that we can't like micromanage that individually. I know not everyone really like thinks about that, because on the grander scheme of things, it's like +1 or +2, but I'm kind of picky about that for my city placement. Speaking of which, it looks like Catherine's gonna try to settle another city. We'll see how it goes. My turns are really slow too. Okay, come on. But yeah, I have to like take this alternative route, because I do not have a navigable river, unfortunately, that'll grant me access to her ports here. But we are going to get the new wonder, the Great Lighthouse. All right, and it is quite pretty. Not too powerful of a wonder. It's kind of similar to Colossus, but we do get a free merchant, and that +15 naval trade route range is going to do a lot of heavy lifting for us, because it applies to all settlements. And then we get +1 sight on naval units. So we should already be able to see. We can see a lot more terrain here thanks to our increased sight bonuses. So that's gonna synergize fairly well with our naval oriented play style. Let's get those dies. And okay, we should have a resource spot open up once that market is completed. Okay, and she took over Khotan, so I'm sure that's going to piss a few people off. Okay, and she settled Sparta, so they're definitely going to get into a conflict. Thankfully, her units are kind of north of my cities right now, so in the event that we declare war, which is fairly soon, she'll need to quickly reposition. Yeah, we need more camels. I can't really maneuver around this. I guess we can switch out some jade, um, maybe, and put in a silk resource. Swap out the cotton here. But yeah, I think we're already pretty optimized. I don't know why Ahsoka's so mad with me. Maybe because I was trying to befriend Samarkand. I'm actually going to stay neutral here. Sorry, Catherine. I just don't really benefit from going to war with Hatshepsut right now. Now, I will take that juicy +2 culture. We are at 232 culture, so this was intended to be more of a militaristic game, but our culture is absolutely mogging everyone else right now. Okay, and we can finally get another resource in this city here. Okay, speaking of which, I'm going to actually go ahead and plunder this trade route, which is going to piss Himiko off. Get 120 gold out of it. We are at 922, so we're kind of like officially beginning our campaign here. Sorry for the procrastination. Now also buy out a harbor here. Why not? And buy out this unique as well, because why not? So because we're playing as Blackbeard, we can officially, I mean, not necessarily officially, like unofficially wage war, excuse me, on her without even declaring, thanks to our ability. So we're going to really make use of that. We haven't had the opportunity to make too much use out of Blackbeard's ability up until this point. But right now, of course, he settles the city right next to me. Although that's like 2 tiles away from his capital, so I can't fault him. We should really be able to start capitalizing on our leader. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and denounce you. And she's gonna start retaliating. But as you can see, the horde grows stronger. The horde grows stronger. So the more she attacks us, just to show you how ridiculous Blackbeard is, the more we say, I just do not give a fuck. And you can see with our resources here too. Himiko is not going to be too happy. I can tell you that. Although she's mounting a decent counteroffensive. But she's looking a bit worse for wear here. So once we break through these naval units, I'm going to wait for Catherine to move out of the way. It's going to be GG for Himiko. GG. And we're already on to future civics. So keep that in mind. And we can finally repay her for taking Colossus as well, because we were going for that. Oh, she has quite a navy. She's got quite the navy on her. But that should be no match for our current state of affairs right now. Because we have assistance coming. I don't know why I took that codex. I think I've already won our science victory right here. Right? Oh, no, we haven't. Never mind. But we are close to it, so we're kind of dominating right now. Let's get +2 science on science buildings. And that'll further buff our yields. Okay, we're getting attacked here. We do heal quickly, though. I think I'm going to send you to start raiding. No valid capturable locations. Okay, well, we're just going to heal for now then. I'm not going to attack Catherine. It is kind of annoying she's in the way, but I do want to keep her as an ally. Okay, and we're still holding our own, thanks to our naval combat ability. So let's weaken you. I'm still gonna heal. We're gonna go ahead and take this. Actually, we can take it next turn, I think. I was gonna say we're gonna take this Vaishya. But, I don't know if we have enough movement for it. Okay, we can't actually take that Vaishya, unfortunately. But as you can see, we are snowballing quite a bit. I think the reason we can't take that Vaishya, to clarify, is because they haven't actually created a trade route yet. I think they're going to create a trade route, but they haven't actually created a trade route itself, which is why we could plunder the trade route earlier. Okay, we have like one. No, we don't even have one more ship coming. We are kind of at an impasse right now. She's attacking my ships, which I do not like. Quite a bit annoying here. So if we're going to be mean, might as well attack here. No, I'm going to upgrade this to a city because why not? And try to expand as quickly as I can to this tile. I don't really think I'm going to have time to... no, we're at 98% to get there. But at least I'll get another resource slot. Excuse me. We already bought a granary here. So I'm just going to go for the research initiative. I don't have nearly enough time. I thought I had way more time than I do. Because things are literally just getting good. And our time is being cut short, unfortunately. She has a huge navy. I am not sure why her navy is so big. Otherwise, we would have steamrolled over her, which I was kind of planning. Okay, that's the final turn. We did not make nearly as much leeway as I thought we would with Himiko because she's actually been spamming ships, much to my discomfort. So, maybe we do a rerun in the exploration age, excuse me. That's kind of embarrassing. It's a pretty animation. Okay, we did do pretty well, though, despite our terrible naval gameplay there. Okay, so of course I'm going to go with the pirates. But I'll kind of break them down. I didn't really do a good job at breaking down the Tonga. The pirates really synergize well with Blackbeard because, of course, but you get boosted yields from pillaging and coastal raiding with naval units, with the caveat that I mentioned before of not being able to train settlers or purchase them. So we have to rely on capturing other civilization settlers, which is a huge, huge nerf, but it makes for pretty interesting gameplay. Now, naval, treasure convoy, and buccaneer units, which is their unique, can move into other civilizations' borders without being at war or having open borders, which is kind of Blackbeard's ability. So there's a little bit of a crossover. And then, of course, we get bonuses towards building the Havana Harbor, which is their unique wonder. But they get the unique the unique tongue twister, unique unit, the Buccaneer, which is their naval commander, and that basically allows you to raid to hell and back and make the enemy AI's lives utterly miserable, which is a huge positive for me. Love being a nuisance, but The sloop, I think we're going to see how decent that is. Light naval units are going to be melee units, so that's the only units we've used so far. Um, so we'll see just how useful they are because they're going to have increased mobility and vision being a light naval unit, and then the lighthouse which we built is going to buff their vision further. So hopefully this synergizes really well with Blackbeard. Um, but then their haven is their unique quarter, which kind of doubles down on the gold generation. It's similar to Carthage in that it is a unique naval quarter, which very few cultures have at the moment. Hopefully that changes in the future. But we'll kind of see how they go. So there's such a weird culture pick, but I like how aggressive they are navally. I like the narration here. The devil's afoot. Oh, the devil will be afoot if the loading screen finishes here. There we go. Who do we want to upgrade here? I think we'll go ahead and what? Go for this city here. Get the plus 12 science. Actually, I'll get the scientific attribute point. And we'll get the plus 5 gold. The culture. Diplo expansionist, and that should be good. So here is our unique capital building for those curious. And here's the town building. They look kind of Spanish, which makes sense. They were inspired by Spanish and British settlers, I think, before they became pirates themselves. So yeah, I'm not like not an expert or anything, so I apologize if I sound like an idiot. But they had those colonial influences. What I was trying to say. Let's go ahead and get that bonus. And I think I'll wait for a naval commander before we start investing in ships. Okay, we'll go ahead and convert this into a city. This will remain a town. I think we'll also convert this into a city. And that'll be good for now for the gold because we don't want to dip too far below our current what's the word I'm looking for? Our current gold limit or gold production limit. I was going to say, now that we have resources kind of available to us to kind of push around, we'll start putting some of these resources, or taking some of these resources from the towns and putting them in the city, since our trade routes kind of got reset with the age transition there. And keep in mind, we can't build settlers, so that is a huge, huge debuff for us. Looks like Machiavelli took, which is why he's angry with us, Mediolanum from Charlemagne. I am going to befriend Kamakura. There's Tondo over there. I'll reject that for now. And we're going to go with plutocracy. I think that's going to be good for the production towards overbuilding. I'm not as big of a fan of the exploration age governments compared to the antiquity ones. I think there's a lot less interesting like variety. There's not really a choice between like culture and science, or wonder speed and food, as there kind of is like with the antiquity era governments. So I'm much less, I guess, like favorable towards those, but hopefully they kind of get a balanced pass in the future. And I also want open borders with you. There we go. You can also see all of our naval units got sent back, or reset entirely. So I believe that's because we had the harsher age transition option selected for our loadout. But that's just how things go. Speaking of trade, let's get those camels from Gal, and let's send our other trader to Roma. And then we should probably have one more merchant after that. Okay, we're going to get articles of agreement for our unique. I want to get that out as soon as possible, just because I like to see it. It being the unique, which I believe gets bonuses towards, okay, gold and military constructibles. So we're going to try to have it, I guess, as close to as many land tiles as possible. And then I think the other, let me see my unique civics. The naval arsenal, I should say, the other unique improvement is gold for each adjacent resource. So we kind of have to be a bit strategic about our placement here, just like we were with the Tofta, or Tofia. Okay, and we finally have our Buccaneer, which is our unique naval commander. We want to buy that ASAP. Super cheap at 480. And it has a cute little model. I think this is a unique model. We can't buy another. It's going to be 1440. But we are going to go ahead and get two. So you're going to rest for now. Establish a trade route. And I think we also want to get our temples out immediately. Yeah, there we go. I think the next question is where we put our stone cutter. Really not too many good options for this because I think this would be a really fine spot for a wonder, or maybe even here. But again, we don't have too many choices. I'm going to hold off. Since our land is kind of limited here without building an urban district on this tile. So we're probably going to go for an observatory. I think one right here would be okay. Again, I want to put a wonder right here. So I'm just kind of keeping that in mind. I'm actually going to send you back towards the commander here. Okay, so we've got our naval station. Each military and gold constructible. Okay. Yeah, we don't have too many gold constructibles now, do we? I think our best option is actually going to be right here. And then for our naval station here, I think we're a bit more spoiled for choice. Well, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to put it here. I'm just kind of thinking. Yeah, our choices here aren't great either. I'm just gonna pop it down there and pray for the best. Okay, and of course we had to spread it out here, so we can't build a unique quarter because our harbor's here and our quay is here, so we're gonna have to plop down our unique right here. I think we didn't have much of an option at all. Yeah, because I do want to build as many uniques as I can because I get an additional bonus on top of that. So I think with that in mind, I'll just plop it down here. Right. And that should be it for now. I'm just trying to see what my next plans are going to be. Let's get the naval arsenal and get another merchant ASAP. Okay, we're going to probably buy out that naval station as well since it's going to take 11 turns. I just don't want to waste production on that when we are kind of spoiled for early wonder picks. Okay, I'm not going to trade with Himiko because she's probably going to declare war on us fairly soon. I am going to try to befriend Constantinople um, when I'm able to. And as we kind of build up a greater naval presence here. Yeah, he's expanding quite rapidly. Machiavelli, that is. So we're going to get Gyeong because scientific city-states... she's trying to sanction me. Which is a dick move. She'll pay for that, though. And Ahsoka will as well in the future. We're obviously going to found the religion of piracy. For our reliquary beliefs, I've kind of flip-flopped on this. Depending on the patch. I think for right now, I'll take Brahmanism. I do like the +2 relic bonus. And then I'll take the science from interfaith dialogue. In the past, I've kind of preferred culture, but it really depends. Since I have such a decent culture lead right now, I'm neck and neck with Hatshepsut. I almost said Cleopatra. But I'm neck and neck with Egypt, which has a really strong culture output. I'm probably going to be pretty solid on the culture front. God, that naval station is expensive. Okay, she declared war on me, and I'm not too surprised right now. This is going to be really hard for her to take. As a city, I'm going to move my commander over here. And I'm actually going to try to ally Cleopatra so she helps me out in this war, since she's right next door. And hopefully she joins next turn. We'll get press gangs to speed up our boats. And I guess the plus side of being directly at war means that we can also raid her via land as well without having to worry about spending the influence. There's our first naval station. It looks lovely. And that's going to be a nice 5 production. So our wonder speed is actually going to be pretty beefy. Our production speed, that is. I'm going to go ahead and get 2 sloops and 2 cogs while I can. Although I am kind of tempted to build Wat Sien Fong. So I'm actually going to get that first and then build my cogs. Okay, so she's gone ahead and declared war on Himiko, which is great for us. I may also ally with Charlemagne um, if I need to. I was kind of planning on raiding him, but I think he has enough trouble as is with India and Machiavelli. All right, we're going to get our first unique quarter here, which is, looks quite pretty, the Haven. So that's going to give us +1 gold for every treasure resource in our pool, which we are yet to build on, but it will stack gradually. And then friendly naval units receive +50 healing in this tile, which is going to apply to our buccaneer here, or our sloop, I'm sorry. Enemy of all nations. I like, I like that. I like that civic title. We are going to rush for Havana Harbor. I kind of wish it gave us a settlement though. Okay, we're not going to try to push too far into their territory here. Because, yeah, they're going to go after us. I also need to, I almost forgot, get some missionaries out. So I'm going to spend my first 600, which is kind of steep, um, getting the missionary out, and then that'll help me convert some of my early cities. And then once we get some more merchants up, we can grab the reliquary belief for that and further buff our religion spread. No, we want to convert Nassau to piracy, as God meant it to be. Get rid of that Taoism. Oh, there's an archer there. Okay, we got to decide where we're building Havana Harbor. Which, let me see the requirements here real quick. Oh, it needs to be in distant land, so we're gonna have to wait a bit. I rushed towards that blindly. That may even be the next live stream, because that is going to be quite a bit away. The sanctions aren't really going to do anything, but nice try. Ooh, and Buccaneers gain the looting promotion for free, which is really nice. Okay, I think in about 10 turns we're going to finally have our first navy set out. It's kind of been a while since she's declared war on me, but I think we want to... She's embraced Islam. Actually get a peace declaration and then send our naval units in, because we can still start raiding despite being at peace. And then we don't have to worry about her land units. Okay, they're just wasting influence on those sanctions. They don't really mean anything to me because I've already built as many military units as I need. My allies will hopefully start sieging Himiko cities down. They can't really get to Ashoka, but I'm not really worried about his military because he's so far away. We have Wat Xing Thong. Okay, it was already built. I'm not sure why that glitch occurred. Usually there's an animation, but apparently the game decided it did not need that. Okay. But this is going to help with our gold generation. Not that we really need it, but it's an early wonder that the AI typically avoids, but despite still being quite powerful, kind of similar to Mundo Perdido. We'll specialize this in a few turns. Okay, we can finally get Dawa, which empowers our trade routes to immediately convert cities that they are sent to, and coupled with our traders, which are going to city capitals, that's going to just synergize very well with Brahmanism to get us relics very, very quickly. That's just my theory crafting there. But yeah, I think Tonga synergizes fairly well with the pirates. We're quite balanced. I do like our architecture. Okay, so we finally have all the units we need for our Buccaneer. So I'm going to immediately start sending them northward. I'm also going to snag open borders with Catherine now that I have the opportunity. She is friendly enough, so we're going to go ahead and form an alliance, and then she'll probably declare war on Himiko here. I don't know why I thought Ashoka was at war with me. He is not. But that's kind of my game plan right now. And then once I have enough units, I'll also start beefing up my my other not enough units. I mean enough gold. Start beefing up my other Buccaneer. Just to give a summary. We can go ahead and grab, actually, we can't build over our navigable river here. I was going to say. Oh crap, I didn't even notice. We were getting sieged down here. Thankfully, Cleopatra's helping us out here. Yeah, we need to get medieval walls as soon as possible. Where's our buccaneer? Okay. Where are our units? Did I not send my buccaneer northward? To plunder booty? Okay, he's taking this route. Okay, I was super worried about that my ships were deleted for whatever reason. Okay, so we're going to have our buccaneer stationed here. Send our sloops to join them. And continue buying out our naval units so we can get revenge on Himiko. The next cog is going to be 522, so we'll get there next turn. And our limestone disappeared. Let's get guilds too for the gold boost. We've been sinking a ton of money into our navy. All right, you know what? Why not? More gold. More influence. Okay, and I'm going to purchase my last cog here. Man, she built the House of Wisdom super, super fast. Oh, and it looks like they took Indrapura. So, Himiko is going to be quite battered by the time we get over there. Nevertheless, hopefully she has a formidable navy ready for us, like she did last time. Okay, now both of our navies are fully complete. I'm probably going to pull both of them together to fight Himiko, and then I may pick on Charlemagne later. For the time being, I think we're going to need all of our naval power to kind of go towards Himiko's naval coastal cities. They're erupted. Just because she had like 8 units last time, which kind of put us on our back foot. And our naval stations are looking quite spectacular. Quite useful too. Now, right at the moment, they're not too relevant because I don't have any like naval or enemy navies threatening my cities, but I I mean, if Charlemagne decides to get active and becomes more aggressive, he's, of course, friendly towards me now. But if he decided to get more aggressive, that would really come into play because the healing is quite significant for ships in friendly waters. Okay, this is not doing anything, buddy. I do not think you understand the gravity of the situation here. Okay, I just missed my expansionist. Where is it? My attribute point. Where on earth? You know what? Whatever. I forget where that is buried in the UI. Ooh. Himiko has, fortunately. Oh, we can found settlements with this unit. I don't know what I've been thinking. Himiko has, fortunately, sent a naval unit here, so we can actually start our chaos already. If she's going to block us, so be it. Okay, you're attacking us again. I really don't think that's like a wise decision, but so be it. I'm going to get a temple so I can start spamming missionaries out of this city too. All right, so it looks like we're ready. We have both of our armadas here finally, and it looks like Himiko's ready for us as well. So we'll see how this pans out. Oh, wow. They immediately took out our Buccaneer. Okay. Holy moly. How do they have so much combat strength? Oh, I think it's from the Niter. Ew. We are at a bit of a choke point here. Okay, we're going to have to be more careful with our cogs. The sloops are just not, from my observation, I made a huge mistake in building sloops. They are just not competitive enough when the enemy has a huge armada. I mean, you can see here, the cogs have been taking out my sloops. So I'm wondering even if the naval investment is worth it at this point. I'm kind of shocked they're doing that much damage. Because you can see here, I mean, I'm just going to get clobbered. I thought we'd see a little bit more of an advantage because of combat strength. I mean, I am grabbing their ships, but their cogs are absolutely tearing through my sloops. Interesting. Okay, I may call it first stream and reformulate my strategy because this has not been going nearly as well as I thought it would. I swear I thought Blackbeard was going to be a bit more better on the naval front. Maybe I didn't invest enough into my naval units. I actually didn't think Himiko would have quite as many units as she did. And it's probably also me not having a great navy, or her having, her having a much better choke point because it takes 18 turns to get over to her ocean. So I mean, we will see in the future. I might re-roll and load back a few turns and strategize differently. This is not. This is she absolutely clobbered me, as you can see there. So the AI, at least with this patch, of course, they're erupting again. Even though I'm doing much better economically, far better culturally, thanks to the Tonga, it ended up being a way better Tonga showcase than a pirate showcase as I thought it would be, because her naval planning was actually way better. I'm kind of impressed with the AI on that front. So I may need to go back and change the thumbnail. But I think that's going to be it for today's stream. Kind of embarrassing on my front. But thank you guys for any of you guys, the 3 people who tuned in. And I guess we got to see the Tonga's capabilities. But I was really, really impressed with the naval gameplay from Himiko, although it was kind of disappointingly cut short. But I think that'll be it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.